Hey, it's Brian Mudd, and this is my cheat sheet for Wednesday, September 5th. Half-price Starbucks today, and no strings. It's through our Living Social deal of the day, and I have the direct link on my physical cheat sheet. So just go check it out, because, look, I mean, who doesn't like half-price Starbucks? Anytime they do this, it's a huge hit. All right, iPad in the schools. I'd mentioned when Apple was making a concerted effort about a year ago to really try to penetrate the school environment, that I really hoped it was successful, and not for any financial consideration, but ultimately for the betterment of the educational experience. See, increasingly, I think school and the old textbook is drifting further and further away from the on-demand, technologically advanced youth of today. And ultimately, if we're going to have a better education experience, I think it includes disseminating information to kids in schools in the way in which they want to receive it. For example, if you throw down, several hundred-page textbook in front of me or in front of a kid, it's a textbook, and that could be boring, right? But if you suddenly have an ebook on an iPad, why now? I mean, that's kind of cool, right? You're connecting with me in the way in which I want to be communicated with, or me as the kid, right? Well, which one and the same, I suppose. But anyway, I do think that this is a step in the right direction. And what you're actually saying is that the iPad is beginning to replace the traditional computer in schools. For the past quarter, the most recent quarter, we actually saw orders to schools of PCs drop by 14%. At the same time, we saw more than 1 million iPad orders in the schools. And so increasingly, we're seeing a move in that direction. It'll be interesting to see if this does become the new norm, an e-reader in the classroom replacing the traditional computer. And the benefit, too, to the school system and to budgets is that the iPad is generally cheaper than a computer. So there you go. Not good news here. I got a couple economic stories for you. First, the U.S. dropped for the fourth straight year in global competitiveness. The World Economic Forum comes out with a list of all countries in the world and ranks them in terms of where it's best to do business. For the fourth straight year, we declined. We're now number 7 in the world, and the reasons cited for this past year's decline in the U.S., increased government regulation, how often do we hear that, and the debt crisis that's looming in this country, the lack of clarity on solvency in the United States. So our debt and our overregulation has the United States not only not the best place to do business in the world anymore, but number 7. So maybe we can break this trend. It might also coincide with, I don't know, November and what we do in the elections. Auto sales, meanwhile, best August in 5 years. Best August since 2007, or before the recession. But here's the thing. While U.S. auto sales increased just over 20%, big number, the news wasn't as good for the U.S. guys. Now, I heard a bunch of reports yesterday touting the double-digit sales increases at all of the American companies, which is ordinarily cool, right? I mean, GM sales were up 10%, Ford is up around 11%, you even saw Chrysler up about 14%. Here's the problem with that. With the average being 20%, that means every one of the American auto companies actually lost market share rather significantly in the U.S. in August. So that's not good news. In manufacturing, we actually have 3 straight months of net decline in manufacturing. You saw from the Federal Reserve last week that manufacturing was actually declining in half the country. Well, now it's declining in more than half of the country. You actually have a manufacturing recession taking place right now in the United States, which sounds weird at a time in which you hear those auto sales numbers. But I mean, it's, again, the tale of two economies. We get one industry at times moving in the right direction, and then you see another that just can't get out of its own way. And McDonald's, here's an interesting concept for you. Vegetarian restaurants, they're opening two, but not here in the United States. They're going to open these 2 in India. Now, there's a societal reason for that. I mean, they don't eat cows, among other things, in India. But here's what's interesting about that. Obviously, if it works over in India and McDonald's refines the concept, you might imagine that one day they would begin to open a Big Mac-less McDonald's here in the United States. All right, that is the cheat sheet for today. Enjoy yours. We'll see you tomorrow.